and you take it because you love him. That's what Christ did. Let his creation beat him up, kill him, to reconcile, to atone for us. And we forget this day. We don't like this day. Come on. Keep going.
But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him.
Yes, sir.
And with his stripes we are healed.
We know went somewhere beside Isaiah. By his stripes we are healed. That's Christ all day. Christ, Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way.
Yes, sir.
And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all.
And this is what this scapegoat did. He put all the iniquities on the scapegoat, and he took it all, he took the blame for it. He's all in this book. But if you just half-hearted reading this, it'll go past you like a breath of fresh air.
That's right.
It just go past you. You don't even think about it. Because I've done it so many times. I said, man, this is Jesus right here. Keep going.
He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was brought as a lamb to the slaughter.
Yes, sir.
And as a sheep before his shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth.
Christ didn't even open his mouth. Killed him, he took it like a man. You can jump down to verse 10. Go ahead.
Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand.
This is what Christ did for his seed. He said, what now? He shall see his seed, and he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. This is how we prosper, in the hands of the Lord. It ain't always talk about no money. Right. Talk about prospering your health, prospering your kids, your mother, your father, your brother and sister, all your, try to get many of your family members to come in the congregation of Israel so they can learn this. That's prosperity. You know what I'm saying? Your loved ones make it and they understand, they see it. But people just always associate prosper, meaning you got to get money. No, it ain't all about that. Some people ain't got no problem with money. Some people insane in asylums going crazy and they got $1 million in the bank where they folks the center. And they can't spend it because they messed up in the head. But they'll give their whole $1 million away if they can get sanity right here. That's prosperity. And they ain't dealing with no money. You sane in your mind, that's the best money you can buy. We finished with that?
No, sir, you read through 12.
If you want to.
You got it.
Go ahead.
He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities.
This is what Christ did. He bare the iniquity. He took upon us. If we can't stand before him like we are, I don't care how holy we say we are, he said our righteousness is what? Filthy rags. Ain't none of us up here and say, so holy can stand before God and say, look, I'm here, God, let me in. No, we got to have the blood. We got to have the atonement. We got to have all this stuff running right in line. Go ahead.
Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great.
Yes, sir.
And he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul unto death.
Yes, sir.
And he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, made intercession for the transgressors.
Who's that talking about? Jesus. He said he poured what did he say? He poured out his soul unto death. He died unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressor, meaning he was buried for 3 days in the grave. With transgressor, meaning sinners.
That's right.
And he said he bare the sins of many. This ain't talking about no regular man. This ain't Isaiah. This is Jesus in the Old Testament. JP, stand up, boy. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 9. That chicken talking to you. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 9. Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 1. I just want to make sure you understand that Christ is all in this feast day. Let's look at it again. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 1. Go ahead.
Then verily the first covenant had also ornaments of divine service and a worldly sanctuary.
So we're reading about what we just read about in Leviticus 16, about the first covenant having worldly ordinances. This is what they did with the blood sacrifice of animals. Go ahead.
For there was a tabernacle made, the first, wherein was the candlestick, and the table and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary.
Yes, this is what they did the animal sacrifices at. Go ahead.
And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all, which had the golden censer, and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant.
All it's saying that he had the Ark of the Covenant had all those things in it. And this is what the priests commune with God. This is where Moses spoke face to face with God, right here. Jump down to verse 6. Go ahead.
Now when these things were thus ordained, the priests went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of God.
Didn't we just read about that what Aaron did? Went back once a year for us and himself on the Day of Atonement. Go ahead.
But into the second went the high priest alone once every year.
Yes, sir.
Not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The Holy Ghost is signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing.
He said, as long as the first tabernacle was standing, nobody could go in there to the holiest of holies. But when Jesus died, we can all come to him. We didn't need no priest no more. When he took the order out, he took all the power out of the Levitical priest, he put Christ there. Now we can come boldly before the throne ourselves to him. Go ahead, he's going to tell you it's a figure right here. Go ahead.
Verse 9, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices.
Yes, sir.
That could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience.
Those animal sacrifices, they couldn't make you perfect. So he had to send somebody that was perfect. Go ahead.
Which stood only in meats and drinks and divers washing, carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation.
What do you mean until the time of Reformation? Until the time of Reformation when Jesus comes. He's going to tell you, keep going.
But Christ being come as a high priest of good things to come,
yes, sir,
by a greater and more perfect tabernacle.
This is the Reformation. When Christ came, he did away with that first, with the Levitical priests and animal sacrifices. This is all they're talking about. This is not talking about doing away with the whole law. Go ahead. The people will put the whole 10 Commandments, the dietary law, all into this just because they don't have no understanding of the law. Keep going.
Not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building.
Yes, sir. Because Christ never dwelled in a building. Go ahead. He ain't had his time yet on earth. His time on earth going to be in 1,000 years. When he stands on David's throne, that's when he going to dwell in the temple. In Ezekiel chapter 44, he said, the presence of the Lord is in, he in his house then. Until then, this ain't happened yet. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us.
Christ entered in once, he died once. Well, with those animal sacrifices back then, they had to do it year by year, over and over and over again. Christ did it one time. That's why we can come in the name of Jesus by his blood. Go ahead.
For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctifies to the purifying of the flesh,
Excuse me.
I didn't read that right.
Yeah, you read it right. You just had a lot of time on the heifer. Go ahead, brother. You're doing good.
How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to
Yes,
God,
sir.
purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God?
This is the magnitude. This is the highest of the highest. What Christ did. He went and appeared before God for us. He atoned for our sin. This is what this night is all about. You can't activate Jesus unless you're following these high days. It's the only way you can activate him. You can't come to him boldly before the throne of grace if you don't understand how the whole process works. You got to fast. You got to pray. You got to take the day off of work. You got to do all these things, and then you can activate it. But until then, you out there in no man or no woman's world. Where? You don't know what you're doing. Go ahead, brother.
Let's skip 18.
Yeah. Jump down to verse 18. Well, keep going.
Okay.
It might
15.
help a little bit.
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And for the cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death,
Yes, sir.
for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
See, Christ is the mediator of the New Testament. He's the one that comes between God and us. Back then, it was a Levitical priest and the blood of bulls and goats. But now, Christ is the mediator. It lines up perfectly. Go ahead.
For where a testament is, there must also of a necessity be the death of the testator.
Who's the testator? Jesus. The death of him. He said, where the testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator. Jesus or the scapegoat. Same exact thing. Keep going.
For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth.
If Jesus didn't die, there's no strength for us. We cannot have salvation if he didn't go to the cross. Remember when Peter told Jesus, no, sir, Lord, they don't take you. What did Jesus tell Peter? Get behind me, Satan. Because he knew Satan jumped at Peter just that fast. He tried to stop him from going to the cross. If you stop Jesus from going to the cross, we all are done to the lake of fire. This is why this is very important. Keep going.
18. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and of goats with water, scarlet wool, and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people.
This is what was done away. This is the first testament, how we got sins for forgiven. That part is done away. Keep going.
Saying, this is the blood of the testament which God has enjoined unto you.
Yes, sir.
Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry.
Yes, sir.
And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission.
He telling you right here, what you got to have blood to have remission of sin. We had to have animals back then, but now we got the blood of Christ. Listen, keep going. He's going to tell you everything is patterned from the heavenly sanctuary down here. Go ahead.
23. It was therefore necessary that the patterns of things in the heavens should be purified with these.
Yes, sir.
But the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these.
What he's saying right here, he said everything is patterned of what was already been written in heaven. The better sacrifice is who? Jesus. The blood of bull and goats, which is the live goat and the scapegoat was, that couldn't do it no more. So he sent Christ to atone for us. Keep going.
For Christ has not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the truth.
Yes, sir.
But into heaven itself, not to appear in the presence of God for us.
Where did that live goat go where Abram took him? Took him off to the wilderness. A place where wasn't inhabited by man. Where did Jesus go? To heaven, a place where no man has gone, period. Same thing. He's in the volume of the book. He fitting these high days. He fulfilling everything that these live golden scapegoats have done. Go ahead.
Not yet that he shall offer himself often, as the high priest entereth into the holy place every year with blood of others.
He said he's not going to do this every year like the high priest did back then. He going to do it one time. Go ahead.
For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now once in the end of the world.
He said, but now once at the end of the world. He only did it once when he went to the cross. Go ahead.
But now once in the end of the world has he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself.
That's Christ all day. Go ahead.
And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. So Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
When we keeping these holy days, especially the Day of Atonement, we looking for him that second time. Jesus, I know what you did. Come and get me, baby. Come and get me. I understand. Come and get me. Give me my spot. That's how I'm looking at it. I want my job. I want to be God. Period. I don't want to be somebody walking around here barely making in, being a child dying at 100 years old in the 1,000-year resurrection. No, I want to be God, but I ain't going to die no more. This is how serious I'm about it. And you should be the same way. Keep going, Hebrews chapter 10 and 1. But if you don't understand all what we just read in Hebrews chapter 9, this will mess you up. In Hebrews chapter 10, they'll throw away the commandments and the feast day, all of this, because they don't understand the sacrificial law. You can't throw it away. Christ's blood replaced the animals. That's it. Two different prototypes, but we still got blood for the atonement. Verse 1, go ahead.
For the law having a shadow of good things to come.
Yes, sir.
And not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offer year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
These Sunday church people disregard everything about the second part of that sentence. All they see was, for the law having a shadow of good things to come. See, Jeff, Christ died on the cross. The law is done away with. They would do this. They done done it to me too many times. They see law, and they think about the 10 Commandments and the Levitical law. They see law. What did that just say in the second part? First, start with which? We start with can. Read it over again. Read verse 1 over again. Yeah. All right.
Oh, I start over.
Go ahead, bro.
For the law having a shadow of good things to come.
We're going to see what law.
And not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
This is the law, right here you talking about. Animal sacrifice law. Right. Period. Nothing else.
That's right.
Nothing else. Go ahead.
For then would they not have ceased to be offered, because that the worshippers once purged should have had no more conscience of sins.
Go ahead.
But in those sacrifices there is a remembrance again made of sins every year.
So if you are still doing animal sacrifices, just like some of our Hebrew brothers still taking a lamb on Passover, you way out of order if you're doing that. Just like them Jewish people over there in the land, they still killing lambs and putting blood all over every place. Because they don't believe Christ came yet. They still looking for him this first time because they know he's black in the New Testament. That's why they go by the old. They don't want to accept what Christ is. But if you still eating animal sacrifice and lamb, I remember Sister asked me, you want me to get the lamb? I said, get the lamb for what? Come on, Passover. I don't need no lamb. I almost got mad when she said that. I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? Who you been listening to? We don't need no lamb. Them animal sacrifices, nothing now. Keep going.
Verse 3. But in those sacrifices there is a remembrance again made of sins every year.
Yes, sir.
For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins.
That don't work no more. That's the first covenant. with animal sacrifices. That part. They love to say, well, we ain't gonna read that, but keep going.
Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he says, sacrifices and offerings thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me.
When who come in the world? Jesus. When Jesus came in the world, the veil of the temple, meaning that curtain where the Levitical priests go in there and sprinkle blood on it 7 times, he tore it down. Y'all ain't got to do that no more. I got my body for you. One time. One time. That's all it is. But they keeping this animal sacrifice law. We don't keep this animal sacrifice law. Because we believe in Christ. Go ahead.
6. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast had no pleasure.
He didn't like killing stuff. He didn't want to kill nothing. Everything's supposed to be living. We're supposed to be vegetarians, everybody right now. But just because this man started eating everything, he had to put a law of what was clean and unclean. At the beginning, nothing's supposed to die. We're supposed to be still talking to Adam and Eve right now. Right now. If it would have rolled all the way, they didn't sin. Go ahead.
Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O God.
Now you understand. He said, I come in the volume, meaning every volume in this Bible is about Christ. From the animal sacrifices, from not animal sacrificing, from the law, from the goats, from the sheep, everything. The priests, the sheep, all this stuff that we do around the holidays, all that stuff is about Christ. Everything. It takes us trillions of years to figure this out. It takes us a long time. Because he said, what? We prophesy in part, we know in part. He gonna tell us the whole story when we get back here. He want us studying. Keep it rolling. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Above when he said, sacrifice and offerings and burnt offerings and offering for sin thou wouldest not, neither has pleasure therein, which are offered by the law.
Yes, sir. This is what we talking about, animal sacrifice law. So when these Sunday churches gonna read you this part right here, you'll understand what it is. Keep reading.
Then said he, verse 10, I'm sorry.
Verse 9.
9, okay. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O God.
Yes, sir.
Take away the first, that he may establish the second.
See, Jeff, he took away the old covenant, which is the laws, and he established the second. We got 2. Love God with our heart, all our heart, and love our neighbor as ourselves. You dumb if you believe that's it. That's what they tell us. These 2 commandments we live by. No, he take away the first, meaning the priestly